We're going on vacation.
Yeah, we wanted you all to know we're going away for the month of August. Much needed R&R for 3 weeks. But we'll be back first week in September with videos.
Yes, rested, ready to go. So hold your questions, kids, because they're going to pile up, I know.
So I thought today we'd talk a little bit about something we never talk about.
I know.
Sexual abuse. We had a couple of requests on YouTube for people to talk about how do you, have you been abused? How do you deal with it? And, Betty, have you been sexually abused?
Of course, we all have.
I have.
You cannot go out into this culture as a woman and not experience some form of sexual abuse because there's no sex education, there's no sex information, and we're drenched in porn. Come on.
And we don't teach girls things like, we don't talk to them about their sexual power. We don't teach young boys about consent or how to navigate a sexual situation and say yes or no and get in or out of it.
Not only do we need to develop a no, we need to develop a yes.
Exactly.
On our terms.
And how do you consent to something and how do you recognize consent?
Yeah.
That's a huge issue for young people. But we don't really focus too much on sexual abuse. Although in the workshops, for day one, with the group share, the first one, it always comes up to the surface.
Always. There's always someone brings it up. My dad, my brother, the neighbor next door, an uncle, but we don't focus on that because we're there to explore pleasure. And I have to say that pleasure is the antidote to abuse. Don't let the abuser win. Get those orgasms going. That's how I see it.
I don't know how I thought that as a young girl, but I remember thinking, I have a crush on that boy or that girl, and I want to have fun, and fuck him.
Yes,
he's not going to diminish me. and every time now I am trying to connect to someone and share intimacy with them, I'm going to think about him. No. So every time I would push myself, and I would block it out of my mind, and I'm like, you're in this moment. Be present in this moment.
Yeah, the present moment is our point.
Your past doesn't define you.
No, not unless you allow. You can allow it to define you. I just had a private client that was working through years of her brother. See, he didn't hurt her, but he crawled into her bed night after night and played with her body. And
she didn't consent to it.
No,
she didn't want it.
But she couldn't say no.
Well, when have you ever taught how to say no, or find your voice?
And then, of course, so I said, well, where were your parents? They were in their bedroom. So she could have called for help. I mean, you see, what was blocking her orgasm was anger she had, was a rage, and it was all swallowed.
You have to release it and let go of it.
So beat on a pillow, scream at the top of your lungs, get one of those punching bags.
It's not fair. It was wrong.
Yeah.
Screw them.
Yeah.
Let it out.
So this is a good thing this is a soundproof building. The two of us screamed at the top of our lungs.
Now, it's very cathartic to scream.
So I said, how do you feel? Ah! And she'd yell and I'd yell louder and we were screaming. And I think, God, they're going to call the police. They think I'm murdering somebody. And after all of this, she had an orgasm.
Well, I think that's the best way, if you are nervous about being with a partner, to be masturbating and connecting to your body for pleasure, for maybe the first time.
Masturbation is the healing for sexual abuse. Clearly, that you give yourself your own orgasm and your pleasure, and if you repeat the pleasure, you will heal yourself.
Because you'll forget. You'll forget all about it, really. You'll move through it, and you'll get past it.
Yeah, because you were the one that healed yourself. I'm the one that healed myself.
Because I had all these wonderful memories and all these experiences and all these fantasies that I could draw upon.
I loved what one woman in the workshop said. I am not going to let my abuser win. So I'm going to have orgasms and I'm going to have a marvelous sex life. And she was in the process of doing just that. Now, one final thing. Sexual abuse is not nearly as bad as the culture's response to it. That's the big problem. Everybody goes, oh,
and then you have that label. Don't let them put the victim label on your head. Don't do it. Don't share your past with other new lovers. Put it behind you. Put it to bed.
And have another wonderful orgasm.